Okay, hi, thanks everyone for joining, much appreciated. Welcome to the second part of this two-parter webinar series. I'm just going to share my screen and let's get started. As always, Chris is with me. If anyone has anything, please just drop a message in the chat and he'll happily answer. Right, screen. Okay, cool. Can I just check? Firstly, just stick like a yes or one or something like that in the chat if you can hear me. That'll be wonderful. Super, thank you, much appreciated. And you should also be able to see my screen now, the Half-Built Bridges Part 2. Gonna just get a yes for that as well, please. Cool. All right, thank you. Right, so let's jump straight in. So very brief agenda. Thanks everybody for jumping in. We're going to do a recap of part 1. Then we're going to look into customer profiles and then messaging that resonates. This is something that I am a huge fan of, and I can't wait to share this with everyone. So we all do this. Bit of a recap from last week. We reject the idea of starting with our audience, and instead we start with building another bridge, going down another channel, something else to do, going down Twitter or YouTube or something else, that shiny new object syndrome. How did we get here? There are so many options available to us these days that for marketing, for promoting ourselves, for pushing our brand out there, that there's so much choice. It just leads to a proliferation of those half-built bridges. Remember, where there is lots and lots of expended energy and very little actual impact or reward. You get poor ROI, you get frustrated, you become anxious, you get fear, uncertainty, doubt, marketing budget overspend. I want to remind everyone just about this quote that we mentioned last week. Don't push people to where you want them to be, meet them where they are. That is everything that what we're doing is about. Reminder that for what we're doing today, for last week, there are just two audiences. There's those who are problem aware and actively seeking a solution. There are those who are problem aware, but they're not yet actively seeking a solution. There's those two audiences that we're dealing with right now. What unifies them both is a triggering event. That's a semi-predictable moment in time that creates a window of opportunity where a prospect is most likely to take action. And we talked about the different types of events, whether internal, external, or more sort of seasonal. We worked on our triggering events matrix, where we actually identified events based on predictability and impact. We mapped them out and then we selected the ones that made the most sense for us at that time. And in this instance, say for instance, day, new academic year, fear of Ofsted inspection, technology dissatisfaction, and that's what we're going to continue with today. We looked at the ICE framework, which is our pretty straightforward methodology for identifying the various channels that are open to you and restricting from 500 different bridges you could build down to the 2 or 3 that make the most sense, that are most likely to have the most impact for your business, reflecting on all the capacity and ability and experience and so on that you have. And then finally, using all of that information, we filled in our matrix where we look at audience 1, problem aware, actively seeking a solution. Audience 2, problem aware, not actively seeking a solution. We identified some of the key triggers. We referenced offers that we can put to those people for those triggers that made sense. And then we were able to add the channel into that matrix too. And as I said, the one thing that's outstanding is the messaging that actually is going to resonate. And that is what we're going to deal with today. We do it by understanding our audience. We love this quote. In my opinion, understanding who your target audience is and what they want and writing to them and only them is the most important component of being successful as an author. John Locke, 1632 to 1704, swapped successful as an author to successful as a marketer, a business owner, and it absolutely works. We do this though by understanding our customer profiles and creating customer profiles. So what does a customer profile need? It must reflect pain points, their needs, their desires, their values, their hesitations, their triggers, and a bunch of other things that we will go into. And I'm going to show you how we do it too. So again, if this is going a little, if you're thinking, whoa, what's going on? Don't worry. We will go through it together and I'll show you how this all ties in and makes sense. But the key thing to know is that this isn't for the education sector. This is something that the world's biggest brands, household names, they do this. They've been doing it forever. We've just adapted a model to the education sector. So I'm going to show you some real world live examples of brands that know their audience, that build out customer profiles and make sure that their messaging resonates. This is a company called T2T. Just by looking at the picture, and I want you guys to think about this too, actually. Don't worry about typing in answers and stuff. Feel free to if you want to and see if you can preempt what I'm going to say with them. But just by looking at the picture, it's really simple. Just by looking at the very, very few words that are there, you should be able to get a feel for the kind of person that T2T is trying to target. I'm sure it won't surprise you to know that they sell about 75–80% of their products to women. And it's women of a certain age who enjoy things like fitness, yoga, etc. These are all publicly available data, by the way. And you can see that they're screaming out with this, with the image of the person holding the tea. You can see that they're interested in people who are interested in gut health and interested in, maintaining a certain lifestyle and the like from the copy that they're using. Another example is patch plants. If you look at the image here and you look at the words, plants made easy, Patch helps you discover the best plants for your space, delivers them to your door, helps you to look after them. They know that their target audience is young professional workers who like the idea of plants, minimalist lifestyle, but they don't get how to look after them. They haven't got the time to look after them. Plants die. Look how they're tackling this straight away. We'll not only tell you the best plants for your space, we'll give them to you because we know you're busy. We'll also help you look after them because you don't know how to. Simplifying the lifestyle, simplifying the product for a certain type of person demographic. Another one, this is an email that my wife received. Up to 50% off, laid back vibes, heart emoji, pointing hand. And then the email, this will take it from a phone. And look at the copy and the images that they're using. Your fave look, say hi, cozy vibes for the win, and all the rest. Very, very clearly, they're trying to target a certain type, an age of female in this in these ads. Now, this is one of my favorites. I love a lot of the work that Xero do. There's so much complexity and brilliance behind so many of their campaigns. We've used them for probably 6 or 7 years as examples that we give whenever we talk about marketing and knowing your audience. There's so many reasons they're excellent. I'm not going to dive into this right now, but just have a little look. I will come back to this slide and I'm going to break this down as to what it's doing and why it works. But it's really useful to have a look at right now. Picture your business running on your terms. Xero's online accounting software helps you save time in your paperwork, get paid faster, start your 30-day free trial today. I'm going to say no more at this stage. Excuse me. The way that we get messaging that resonates, as I said, is by building out those customer profiles first. And this is the thing that is important. Please don't go and try and create really compelling messaging without doing this first. For any of our clients, they'll recognize these sheets. I'm going to link to right now. And hopefully my screen is still sharing and you can see this. Our clients will recognize this because this is where we start our journey. We go through a customer profile and we say, who are the audience and tell us about them and where are they at? And we'll go and speak to customers. And that's so important. I'm not going to go into the how do we get all of this information unless people feel free to ask the questions and we can go through it a little later if there's time. I will hang around if we get time at the end to answer any questions. But what I'm going to talk about here is the structure of this customer profile form and the importance of it. I get there'll be people live on this call and people watching the recordings later on that may say, why do we need those bits? That seems a bit weird. Everything that's in here is needed for its own reasons. So what I want to talk about is we've actually got 2 profiles on here. Okay, we've got profile 1, who is Peter Bold, a network manager. And we have profile 2, who's Sandra Wright, the DSL/assistant head teacher. Remember, we're doing this with the mind of a product that is, a safeguarding dashboard display toolkit, okay? We're going to actually focus on Sandra more than Peter for reasons that will become clearer later. Now, and you can have access to this. I think, Chris, we can make a copy of this and give everyone access to it, I think, at the end, when we're done everything, and get the links out and everything. Thank you. So you can all just like take ours. Don't worry about making notes on how to do this or anything. So the first thing that we do when we're thinking about one of our profiles, remember, it's like it is an absolute fallacy for any company that ever thinks we serve everyone. You don't. You will serve a particular niche group of people. And it's important that we try and identify who they are. So you take one person, so let's deal with Sandra for the moment, and we say DSL, assistant head teacher, okay? So we give them a name. Now, this point is where people always go, why do we need a name? Who cares? They're a DSL head teacher. Like, this isn't real. It is so important that you give this person a name, because when you give someone a name and an age, it starts to make them real. It starts to make you think about what they look like, because that's how our brains process things. Real world, name, age, we start thinking about whether they have blonde hair, brown eyes, and all the rest of it. But also, you may, without trying to complicate this, you may end up producing 2 or 3 profiles of a DSL assistant head teacher. It's very hard to distinguish the campaigns that you're running when you have DSL1, DSL2, DSL3, and you go, wait, who's that? It's a lot easier when you go, this is for Sandra. Because when you say for Sandra, I know everything on this sheet about Sandra and on another sheet too. You name the person, okay? We give them an age. That is really important too. It actually helps us with the targeting later down the line, and the messaging and their real world experience. The experience of someone who is 54, 55 is different to someone who is 20, 23. We talk about the school. We can give them an actual school or just reference primary or secondary. I like to give it a real name, but primary or secondary, so you know where you're at with this, and then give them a job title. They have multiple, give them multiple job titles. Now we're going to move on to the sources of information. If anyone's done profiling before, there'll be bits that you may have added to a profile that you won't see on ours. There'll be bits that you see on ours that you won't have heard of before. And either are fine. It's just the way that makes sense to us and the things that we found the most use of our time, to be honest. Now we're going to go down to sources of information. So we want to look at, where does Sandra get her information from? Now we could talk about things like Education Today. It's a magazine, that's one that she reads, that's fine. It is always really helpful, though, to think a little bit more obscurely. So although we're dealing with Sandra, who is a DSL, who is an assistant head teacher, what else might she read? What other magazines might she get that aren't even education focused? So if we deal with referencing Peter, and this is why we've done it as 2, by the way, and we've purposely missed things off so we can talk about it. If we think about Peter reads, who is our network manager, he reads Computer Weekly, he reads T3. They're not actually education specific. It doesn't matter. It is really, really useful to know what magazines do they read? What books are they reading? What TV shows are they watching? And I appreciate you may think this is taking us away from DSL assistant head teacher. It's going to help you phenomenally when it comes to the targeting of people if you are to use something like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other approaches too. So please, when you're doing this, don't just think, what are the education titles? What are the education trade shows this person goes to? Think more obscure. What else does she read when she's not in work mode? Where else does she go? What are the blogs and the websites they read? Education Support, Teacher Magazine. She reads The Guardian. She's a Guardian reader. There will be others as well. What conferences does she go to? She goes to BET. She goes to the Student Health and Wellbeing Conference. What Facebook groups is she a part of? It's really important as well. Go to Facebook, go to the search, start typing things, DSL, start typing things around safeguarding in schools, start typing things around head teachers, safeguarding school. Dig in, find what exists, what groups are out there, what pages are there that exist, what other companies exist, and then anything else. So we've put NAHT, maybe a customer of Safeguarding Network or any other company in there as well. The source of information, as I say, is an area that is often skipped through overlooked, rushed when people tend to do it. And it is so useful when it comes to the targeting, not necessarily the positioning, the messaging, but the targeting. It's really, really powerful. So try and dig deep in this area. Okay, now we're going to talk about their work and their personal life. So what we want to start with is, what's Sandra's tasks? What is it she does? What's her daily, weekly, monthly, yearly tasks? What's she having to do? So we've got assistant head teacher duties. So we'll generalize there. Point of escalation, likely the first point of contact, for instance, around safeguarding, including online incidents. We don't want to list like everything that the head teacher is doing, but let's just get in the headspace of what is it that they're doing on a daily or weekly or monthly or yearly time? What is it they're responsible for, their tasks? What's their goals? Or what's their source of motivation? So if we were to say, as Sandra, my main goal in life is, or the thing that I am really committed to is blank. Assisting and running a school where students are confident, engaged, and reaching their full potential. Okay. Setting a benchmark in delivering an outstanding learning experience for all children. Committed to ensuring all students get safe, equal access to education. Okay, great. Let's go down to value. And I'm not hanging too much on these again. If anyone's got questions they want to dive into further, post it in the chat. I could spend a long time going through each of these, and I'm trying not to because there's lots we could talk about. But let's talk again. We want goals, we want source of motivation. All of this is going to help pull that messaging together, and you will see why. We're then going to go into, okay, but what does she value? The things that I value most, the thing that's most important to me is, so for Sandra, it's the well-being of staff and students. Also value subject specialism of peers, third parties, etc. People who are helping me do a better job. Then we want to look at things like her concerns and fears. By the way, the reason, again, we've got two on here, is as I'm reading these, feel free to have a little look at the ones next to it and see how it differs. Remember, we've got the same product here, but you've got two very distinctly different people. This guy over here, Peter, is valuing high quality information that's easy and fast to access. IT products make life easier, less hassle, very techy. Over here, well-being of staff, making sure the kids are safe. Doesn't mean the product doesn't work for both. It means messaging needs to resonate to both. So what's their concerns and their fears? Well, for Sandra, what if our students are doing something online we aren't aware of? It puts them at risk. Oh my gosh, what's my fear? I like to then extend upon this more and say, yeah, that's a concern. What's the real fear? What does it lead to? Like, so what? Like if I was asking someone this, if I said to Sandra, what are you worried about? And she said, if our kids do something online and we're not aware of it and that puts them at risk, you say, yeah, well, gosh, I mean, if they're at risk, I mean, they could get into like serious harm. Okay, so what? So they could get into, they could get into an environment, into a situation that actually is seriously damaging for them. And what does that mean? It means that as a school, that kid is potentially in a lot of trouble, like long term. And us as a school, that really impacts on us and everything we're doing. We've not done our job. So what does that mean? We get into a serious amount of trouble. And what does that mean? I lose my job. It's worth going down the line of so what. We're not going to, don't worry, we're not going to be like, hey, don't worry about losing your job, use our product. But it's interesting to know where people get to with these initial concerns. Often the concern they talk about at the beginning isn't really what they're worried about. It's sort of masking the thing that they're really bothered about. It's like, yes, I'm concerned about kids seeing something online that puts them at risk, but it's, what does at risk mean? What does that mean? What does that lead to? What does that lead to? Holy crap, the world's going to die. Like, that's what we want to get to. So, pain points. You've got the big fear, the big concern. But then you have, but what's a challenge? What's difficult right now? We don't always have an IT technician on school premises. So bringing in new technology could be a headache if things don't go to plan. What happens if this network goes down? I haven't got time to deal with new tech. Even if I see that there may be an advantage to adopting it, I'm time poor. IT manager says we've already got systems in place. I get reports, although they're limited use. So what we're thinking here is, what is the reason that you might not buy this product? What's the reason you might not buy this product? Well, do you know what? Techie says this, and I've not got the time, and we can't really do the thing, and we have got something in place, and if we do, it's not great, but that's really useful for you. Purchasing power, good to know. A lot of companies that we work with, they say what we want to do is we want to reach the head teacher because the head teacher can, make the payments, and I get that. That makes sense. But actually, there are many, many times when you don't necessarily want to reach the head teacher. You want to reach the teacher, and you want the teacher to be able to, promote that and upsell it within the school itself. So it's worth knowing, is this person going to buy? Or is this person an influencer? Or so I'm a key influencer. I do have some budget, although I probably need to get sign off from a head teacher. Cool. Okay, good to know. And then finally, you'll recognize, what are the triggers? What are the triggers? This is why we start here. What are the triggers that may cause someone to be more responsive to actually taking part in taking action in moving towards purchasing this product? KCSA updates, post-lockdown pressures, safeguarding of challenges, school holidays, people outside, I won't read them all, but you can see. This here is worth spending time on. It's worth spending time on. It's worth digging into. It's worth speaking to customers. It's worth speaking to past customers. It's worth speaking to your support team. It's worth speaking to your sales team. It's worth going and doing some digging and research online. This is worth doing. This is what will formulate so much that you do as a brand. And then you come back to it. You don't leave it. You come back to it. You refresh it every couple of months. Is Sandra still active? Is it still right? Does it make sense? Do we need Sandra part 2? Okay, everyone with me so far? Is this all good? We all on the same page? I take a quick sip. Cool, thank you. So building out that customer profile. Once we have that, we're now going to produce our messaging canvas. This is the thing that's going to help us produce the messaging for our brand, actually, not just for the little campaigns that we're running based on Audience 1, 2, but the brand in its entirety. This is a tool, this is the platform that the world's biggest brands use. We just replicated, and now we're sharing. Key things, remember, we've said it several times before, teachers don't buy products, they buy transformations. They're not bothered about, you get the shiny new object syndrome and stuff, and like, oh, it looks flashy, it looks great, cool. But what they want is results. What I care about, I'm not looking for, a particular, I'm not looking for a safeguarding platform, like particularly. What I'm really looking for is to make sure that my kids are damn well safe, that even if they are out of sight, out of mind, that they are safe, that we don't get down that path of the kid is in danger, this thing happens, oh my God, it gets to there, the world ends. That's what I'm after. I actually don't care about how we get there. It's, we often talk about it as being like, your product is basically the airplane that takes people on holiday. It's nice to have a nice, comfortable airplane, a nice flight. We kind of want that. But what we really care about is the holiday. That's what we want to go to. That's what we're really talking about here. There was one of the most important messages that I got taught when I was early on in marketing. It's like, actually realize that nobody gives a damn about your products. What they care about is what you can do for them. Remember that. It's really useful. So how do we produce this messaging canvas? We need to understand that there are 2 stages from when we are working with someone. We've got this before state where people are your profile, your customer, if you like, sorry, your prospect, if you like, where this is before they interact with you as a brand, before they have your product, something is missing. They're unhappy, they're stressed, they're frustrated. There's a problem. Then you've got the after state where they have your product, they're feeling complete, they're happy, they're relaxed, they're excited, they're energized. Fluffy clouds and unicorns and rainbows in the after state, and misery in the before state, okay? And again, what we're trying to do is go, hey, teacher, we get what life looks like right now before. I can show you how to get to the after state. That's what this looks like, okay? That's what we're trying to do here. That's what a messaging canvas does. The way we're going to do it is we're going to break down our audience into these 4 areas. What do they have? What do they feel? What's their average day? What is their status? Okay. I mentioned 0 a little earlier. This was the slide that I showed. Picture your business running on your terms. 0 is online accounting software that helps you save time in your paperwork, get paid faster, start your 30-day free trial today. This is the before and after grid. To be fair, we drafted. This is not like, the official before and after grid. This is the before and after grid that we drafted a little while ago for 0. So all we're doing is we're basically saying, before column, after column, and you'll see again, you'll see how we do it, and we'll give you, our worksheets for this anyway. But you've got before column and after column. You've then got what do they have before, what do they have after, what do they feel, and so on and so on. And when you're doing this, it's actually kind of hard to stick within those parameters. And you will find this when you start writing what do they have, you'll start writing about what they feel. And I can promise you, you'll start writing how they feel. And you need to delete that and step away from it and just write about what they technically have. Okay, before small business, lots of paperwork, manual invoices, it requires manual chasing and leads to late payments. Afterwards, small business, still, less paperwork, automated invoicing and automated chasing, faster payments. Okay. Now, there are companies that will talk about this in their messaging, and they'll be like, with our product, you will have less paperwork, automated invoices, automated chasing, faster payments. And you're like, okay, that's cool. I get it. They're the features, if you want to say, features be benefits and all the like. It's not that compelling. It's not really that compelling, is it? It's better than the before state, but it's not that compelling, which is useful to know. How does it make you feel? Okay, well, before, oh man, I'm tired, I'm overworked, I'm confused, I'm stressed about late payments, I'm not making my own financial commitments, it is out of control. Okay. After, I feel energized, I feel relaxed. I've got a weight off my shoulders. I don't deal with paperwork. I'm actually confident that invoices get paid on time, particularly these automated reminders that go out. And I actually can make my own commitments. I feel like I'm in total control of my business. Yay, right. That is more powerful and emotive than have. And you'll find every time we go down a step, it becomes more powerful and more emotive. And it's because we're involving more emotions to it. Not just you have this, you will have this. It's imagine if you felt like this. It becomes very compelling, okay? So now I want to take it another step and go, what does that person's average day look like before they have your product? Average day, well, I've got too much time spent on paperwork and finances. It takes me away from running and growing my business, manually creating emails, invoices, not knowing if they've been paid, phoning, chasing it. Average day afterwards, I just focused on growing my business. I log into Xero to check everything's in order, but I know everything's being sent, read, and paid. Kind of relax about paperwork, so no, Xero deals with me. I can grow my own business. All right. You may know this as being a lot of education companies talk about things like removing the stress from teachers, and so I'm like, get back to doing what you do best, teaching kids. That kind of line that lots of people have used and used. I'm not dismissing the line, by the way, but that's basically kind of like average day. It's like, get that thing you get back to what you got in for teaching kids. It becomes very evocative and very, you can picture, you go, yes, that's what I got into teaching, to teach kids, not to be doing reports and doing all this kind of stuff. So that's where this comes from. Average day is slightly more powerful than feel. It actually involves quite a bit of feel, but it says, look, I get what your life looks like. You're doing this, and they go, and you go, and it feels like this. Yeah. What if your day looked like that? Oh, wow. It paints the scene more. Okay. And the final bit, the status, this is really for us. This is for us to go, I need to make sure that when they read this, my copy, my content, see my video, anything, this isn't just written words, whatever they see, am I really implicitly pushing this is your status? Your status before was small business owner, chasing tail, feeling like you've hit a plateau you can't break from. Out of control business owner. After, in control, astute, growing the company every day. That's what it's got to sound like. All right, let me show you. What does the person have? Well, they're saving time on their paperwork. They've got less paperwork. They get paid faster. So they've got money, time. What do they feel? Xero's your online accessor that helps you to save time on your paperwork, get paid faster. This is business running on your terms. This is all feeling like you're in control. Average day, picture your business running on your terms. It can't get more average day. Picture your business running on your terms. Saving time on paperwork, getting paid faster. Like, I like the sound of that. What's the status on this? You're in control. In control, businessman. That's it. They used to do some campaigns, they probably still do actually, they're just really clever, where they know that even though they're an accounting software, their whole messaging is basically accounting sucks. because they know that people who buy their software, they've got a couple of audience types. Again, they know their profiles. One of that audience types is accountancy firms who do accountancy for companies. And that's like, look how cool our accountancy stuff is. Look at all the cool features. Look at how much time we could save for your clients. Then you have the me's of the world, where it's like, business owner, oh my God, accountancy sucks. This is horrible. You didn't get into business for accountancy. This is awful. Like, we make it, like, we get that it's awful. That's why we sort of deal with all the awful crap, and you can just log in every now and again. Does that sound cool? And you go, yes. So they're really good with their stuff. Keep an eye out on Xero. So that's how it's used in the real world. And I love you to, when you're seeing websites, mainly for the big brands, because they seem to do it relatively well, you'll start to see this. You'll see they're painting the average day. They're talking about this status. They're saying, look how you will feel. You'll start to see this. So let's go back to Peter and Sandra and go into the messaging canvas. Again, you've got our messaging canvas. You've got profile 1, who is Peter. We have profile 2, who is Sandra. Down here, we've got the have, with a few clues, a few things to think about, the feel, average day, and then the status. And we're doing exactly the same thing. We're saying, Sandra, what's life look like before this product? Now, this is the thing that's important here. What I'm doing in this profile, and what I ask you to please do as well, is for a moment, we're not thinking about the matrix and the particular, maybe the triggers and the channels that we're using, or what type of audience she or he is right now, whether they're actually seeking a solution. We're not thinking about that. We're thinking our profile that we have done. We're saying, what is their before state and after state, where the in-between is buying our product. That's crucial. Before, buying our product. After, buying our product. So this will allow us and encourage us and help us to create the messaging for our brand, or just check that your messaging is resonating, or give you alternative ideas and different ways of reaching people. Once we've done this, we can then, you'll see, we can then take that and use it against the matrix really, really beautifully well. So before, remember, this isn't meant to be very compelling, the before. We're just being clear on what do they have. This is useful for on our website when we're going to go feature, or something like that. Or we're saying, before, I have lots of safeguarding procedures, policies, systems in place. It's great. But I've also got lots of plates to spin. We've got a filtering system. It blocks student access to dodgy websites. But it also means we can't access all the websites too, like YouTube. There have been several online safeguarding incidents that have slipped through. What I have after, a much clearer understanding and evidence of any online safeguarding incidents that take place at school. A few extra minutes a day, I can check through reporting, see exactly what's happening, put things in place in order to address some of these so that we can address even more. So we're talking about, what do they have? Like, what do they physically have? Like, and I have more time, I have more ability to do these things, and I still have an online platform, but I'm being given more time back, etc. What do we feel? I feel frustrated. I'm not always able to pick up on every safeguarding issue. I also feel a bit in the dark when it comes to how IT can help me do a better job in my DSL role. Key thing with Sandra, she's not technical. Key thing, not technical, okay? How does she feel afterwards? Greater peace of mind. Students in my school are protected against safeguarding incidents. It's a relief to know that I can prevent more incidents from escalating to serious cases. The incidents picked up quicker, reporting and evidence impact takes less time to do now. I think every school needs it, etc. Okay? She feels way happier, basically. What's their average day like before? As well as all these assistant head duties, DSL roles take up so much of my time. I've got all this stuff to do. I check online reports every now and again. Serious ones are flagged immediately, but the data we receive is confusing. Afterwards, I spend 7 minutes a day checking through Safeguarding Reports dashboard. It gives me all the data I need. And then it's got a bit more data on that's useful for us to know about what slips through and all the rest of it. But this is kind of cool. 7 minutes a day to get all the data. This comes from DSLs we're speaking to, by the way. Like the stuff I'm showing you is like actual, legit, real world stuff, okay? How useful is that to know that head teacher's gone from saying, oh my God, it's a nightmare, it was horrible, we had all this stuff, and I've got life looks like this, it's all over the place, and I've got post-it notes all over the place. What's it now? I literally spend 7 minutes every day and I know exactly what's going on. 7 minutes. Yep. I identify 7 minutes every single day that I could put this in. I know what's going on in the school. Wow. Great start to messaging there. We can say in our messaging where we want to, we could test it. We say, imagine knowing everything that's going on in your school, safeguarding perspective, knowing every kid is totally safe in just 7 minutes a day. We can really start to tailor our messaging around the idea of 7 minutes a day. Imagine. Why am I saying imagine? Average day. Imagine if your day looked like this. The cool thing with the before and after state, by the way, is although we're writing it as before looks like this, after looks like this, yay. When you're writing the positioning, you don't say like, your life sucks right now. What if it didn't suck? Like you can imply by just saying, imagine if this thing was true. That's enough to say, I know that it wasn't before. So just to be clear, you don't need to sort of be totally obvious with copy that you're writing. And then finally, the status. So I'm a time poor DSL, basically. Time poor DSL. What's happened afterwards? I'm super confident DSL. People actually come to me for advice and insight and information. Happy, confident, using the best, industry best technology to support me with it. That is our messaging canvas. This will allow you to, when you dig deep into this, into your customers, and again, we've just gone through one, you can see there's another one here. Yeah, you could do several of them. You may end up actually having several Sandras, if you like, DSL1, DSL2, DSL3, because they're different. This is the point. It's not that I deal with DSLs. One DSL message works for all. Not really. There'll be different reasons, different triggers, different things that different DSLs are looking for, and things that will resonate with them. But digging into Sandra as a non-techie and where she is with her experience, we know exactly where she's at and what life looks like before, what it looks like afterwards. We know what her fears are. And we know it's not just about, oh, a kid might do something we don't identify. That's a concern, but what does it lead to? We know what her big fear is and her big worry is really, and we can leverage that. We can leverage it. Right, let's go back to our, cool, there we go. So to our customer profile. So we've built all that out, and you can use that framework, as I say, to start actually creating compelling copy on your assets about the product. This is exactly what we do, and we refine it and refine it and refine it for our own content that goes out. We have several customer profiles for you guys, for different types of owners, different size owners, different people, whether they're in marketing or they're business owners, whether they're big business owners, small business, what their pain points are, whether they're struggling to get leads, whether they've got loads of leads, can't convert them. Like, we have many of these profiles. And then we produce content and copy that resonates with that particular profile. So it all comes from this. That's what I'm a huge, just step aside for a moment. The thing that I'm a big advocate of when we're doing webinars or talks and all the rest of it is I get a bit bored of just theory. Like, this is stuff that works. Like, we're doing this, we do it for ourselves, use it. Like, so these things, these are like, needle movers. Like, these are the things that you want to sort of dive onto and jump right into. So we've done the before, we've done the after, we understand where they're at, we get how we can actually position the product to Sandra. And what that now means is going back to our matrix. Remember, we have audience 1 and audience 2. Sandra is potentially in both. There's one world where Sandra is problem aware and actively seeking a solution. There's another instance in another part of the world where Sandra is problem aware. She's just not looking for a solution right now. Okay, so you can see we've highlighted Sandra. Bearing that in mind, we can say, well, when Sandra is actively seeking the solution to the problem of kids' safety in school, etc., when the trigger is there's been safer internet day and she goes, shoot, I really need to sort this stuff out on the tech. I'm going to start looking, and we know she's looking on Google Ads. And our offer is going to be, let me give you a product demo. The type of messaging we can talk about is looking at those features, and look, school safeguarding data in one dashboard built with non-techies in mind. Great for Sandra. after state, sorry, the average day. Focus on running a school, or focus on looking after kids. Relax, knowing that your kids are doing X. Leave the reports to us. I.e., imagine not having to do all those crappy reports that were taking forever. So we're taking that content and we're just tweaking it and just taking the relevant bits for Sandra when she's actually seeking a solution based on that trigger with the offer we're putting in mind on the channel. The message we've put in here is not perfect, far from it, by the way. We've just taken samples and put stuff down just to show you, because you would really want to work on this more than we have for this instance. When Sandra is actually seeking a solution, because there's been either there's been a safeguarding failure, or she's like, oh my God, I'm terrified of the idea that we're going to fail something. And she's Googling like, looking for something. And what we're trying to do is offer our safeguarding training program. We're going to be talking about CPD approved safeguarding training for you and your staff. Like, we're going straight in with it. When we know that she's so pissed off with some sort of technology product that's happened, usually something's gone wrong, it's bust, it's broken, something's happened. We're going to offer a consultation, a product demo, because she's actively looking for it. We know she's looking on Google Ads. She's on EdTech Impact. We need to make sure those things are tied up nicely. We know that for that, she's probably going to be looking for things like alternative to competitor. And that's a real cool thing to know. We can use language like, hey, safeguarding system needs improvement. Lol, we can help. Now, Sandra, who's not actively seeking a solution, but remember, has the same triggers, different offers. Because someone who's not actively seeking a solution, it'd be weird to be like, Safer Internet Day, let me show you my product. I was like, what? So Safer Internet Day, we got some cool lesson plans and a competition. We're going to run it through Facebook ads, because that's really great when they're not looking for the solution. We're just going to put something in front of them. And the language is going to be more around, hey, DSL, what are your teachers doing Safer Internet Day? Get free access to our 2021 Key Stage 3, Key Stage 4 online safety plans. Inside, you'll discover that kind of, okay. The fear of safeguarding. She's not actively looking for content around this, but we can put something in front of her. We're going to run a webinar and we're going to push her to it through Facebook ads, for instance. And it's going to be around safeguard requirement changes from KCSIE. See the difference here again? Like, someone who's looking for information or looking for a fix because of fear of failure, we can get them a CPD approved safeguarding program. When they're not looking for the fix, but the trigger is the same, we're going to go around to a webinar. KCSIE's changed again. Join our upcoming DSL in the Know webinar, where we'll show you everything that's changed and what it means to your school, etc. When problem aware and not actually seeking a solution, technology dissatisfaction, again, it's like, that thing kind of sucks that we have. I've not got time to look for something else right now, but it's kind of annoying me. Maybe instead of going consultation, product demo, it's like, you don't have time to do that. Remember, she hasn't got time, too busy. Product's bad, she hasn't got time, she's spending all the time on it. What if we did some sort of automatic product comparison calculator thing? We do this, and it doesn't really matter. We do it as an email broadcast, for argument's sake. Then we can lead with something like, remember, she's not actually looking for something else. She knows that the current thing she has isn't great, but busy, stressed, overworked. We could, please don't take this quote, I made it up, just to be clear. Before anyone goes, that's an interesting quote, I made it up. Interesting fact, 73% of DSL said they were frustrated by the current safeguarding tool. Of those, 90% said they have no time to investigate alternative options. Sound familiar? Just made life really easy for you. See, what we're able to do here with all of these things is understand that Sandra, in one world, is actually seeking a solution. In another, she's not. Both times has the problem. Both times has the same trigger. Different offers, different channels, messaging that is tailored based on what we understand now about Sandra and her profile and what her pain points are, what her fears are, what her aspirations, her goals, her desires are. And we just bring it back to what audience is she in? What is the trigger? If you do that, you are going to find so much more success in the campaigns. Yes, it takes work. Like, these things take work. There is no silver bullet to this. I remember when we ran the Marketing to Schools Summit, which I'm hoping we could do again very soon. So keep your ears open. When we were on the Marketing to Schools Summit, and I remember that one of the reviews bit that came out said, like, I was worried going to this that they were going to, Brian and team were going to pitch there's some silver bullet to marketing to schools, and it's easy. We know that's not the case. And gladly we say there is no silver bullet, but there are strategies that you can go through that make life a heck of a lot easier and give you much, much more chance of a very high successful campaign and great ROI going forward. This is exactly what that is. I've explained in the last 2 sessions over the last 2 weeks, a lot of tools and systems that we use internally. You've got the customer profile, you've got the messaging canvas, you've got our ICE framework, you've got our matrix, you've got all of these systems that you can now pull into place in order to map out campaigns based on audiences that should be much, much more successful. I hope you found that useful. So what next? Try it out. Map out that matrix. Start thinking about those profiles if you haven't already. And if you have thought about your profiles, do them again. There's absolutely never a wasted time when you're going through customer profiles and assessing them and rejigging them. Even if at the end you go, they're on the money, doesn't matter. It was time well spent. Map out those matrix. If you want to hear more about us and how we operate and speak to someone in the team, you can book a call with one of our account managers or myself by just visiting the link below, bdigital.marketing. Book a call with us on the Work with Be Digital link, and we'll happily walk through how we operate, how we work, and explain to you whether there may be something there that we could do or not. And if you haven't, I don't know where you've been, please sign up to our Tate newsletter. It's just awesome, really. Loads of great, insightful information around marketing, advertising, not just education, but broader, and just kind of life in general. It's just a really good read. And I can say that it's a whole team effort, despite the fact that selfishly, I get my name at the bottom every single week. So that's it. It's been quite a marathon for us internally. So a little thank you to my team as well for helping me to put everything together and running as usual, and Chris for all of the great stuff that he does, and for putting all the links out there and extra information, things that I often forget when doing the webinars in the chat. So thank you, Chris. And that's it. So anyone has any questions or anything, you can reach out to me at any time. You can just message me. My email is Brian, BRYAN, at bdigital.marketing, and I'll happily get back to you and help out. Please go try those matrix, and I will hopefully see you all soon. Thanks so much. Bye.